Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha with Nature Niche, and this week I want to talk to you about Michigan's rare species regulations. The law that helps protect and restore habitat for our state's most vulnerable plant and animal species is a very important one. It's a body of work that I really enjoyed when I was an environmental consultant, and so it's a topic very near and dear to my heart. And this regulation just celebrated its 50th anniversary in 2024. The Michigan Endangered Species Act was enacted in September of 1974, and it was later reworked into what is now the Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act. The acronym is NREPA. Act 451 of 1994, and it is part 365. So I'll include a link to the very detailed law, but I want to talk to you just about how incredibly important this legislation is. It includes protections for rare and endangered species. It created Michigan's Threatened and Endangered Species List, which is a tool that helps to identify and protect our state's most rare plants and animals. And the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, or MDNR, enforces this regulation through their wildlife division. And per staff of the Wildlife Division, it's a conservation spotlight, focusing regulatory attention, species management efforts on the species that are most at risk of disappearing from the state of Michigan. And this law is just as important today as it was 50 years ago. It's currently protecting 407 species in Michigan, including 9 mammals, 12 reptiles and amphibians, 22 fish, 25 bird species, 30 insects, 35 mollusks, and 274 plant species. And that's way up from when we first had Michigan's first threatened and endangered species list with only 78 species on it. So this is the Michigan Department of Natural Resources official website with the threatened and endangered species list. This was last updated in 2023, and I believe they added 58 additional species and removed or downlisted to special concern 36 species. So we'll talk about status in just a minute, but I wanted to show you this DNR website and how you could sort as you start to get familiar with Michigan's rare species. You can sort by taxonomic group, which I think is really helpful. It lumps together all the rare birds. If you keep scrolling over all the fish, you can see all the plants together. You can also sort by common name or scientific name if you're trying to look up a certain species and understand its status, like say lake sturgeon. You want to know what's its status. It is currently state threatened. So this is a great resource for understanding what's on the threatened and endangered species list currently. Another tool and really helpful set of websites are the ones that are maintained by Michigan Natural Features Inventory. They have Michigan's rare flora and fauna divided. So there's a rare plants page and a rare animals page. And you can take a look. They also have the status listed with a global and a state rank perspective. And this can be downloaded as a PDF. What I like about this website is that you can click on the species, so say purple milkweed, and it'll take you to
a shortened version of their much more detailed species abstracts, but give you some general information about habitat, key characteristics. You can take a look at some photos that they might have on file, what counties it's been recorded in the state, and links to the natural communities where the rare species is known to occur. So I really like this particular resource as well. And as you become more familiar with our rare species, this is a great place to be able to become more familiar.
Okay, so you saw on those websites under status different E, X, T, or SC. So I want to explain the different status levels in the state of Michigan. So E is for endangered, and it is the most imperiled. So that's a species that's in danger of becoming extinct or extirpated. And that danger is throughout all or a significant part of its range. So those are the most critical examples would be the short-eared owl, and painted trillium would be a plant example. American chestnut would be a tree example. So they're the most rare. And then extirpated. That means that the species was once here but is no longer occurring in the state. At least we don't believe so. If it gets rediscovered, which happens sometimes, then it automatically becomes state threatened. But some examples of extirpated species in Michigan include barn owl, many of our Lake Cisco fish species, and purple prairie clover, along with a lot of other prairie and savanna species. T is for threatened, and those are kind of the next level of species. They're in danger of becoming endangered, and that is within the foreseeable future throughout all or a significant portion of the species range. So examples, wood turtle was just uplisted from special concern to threatened. Least bittern and Caspian tern and cerulean warbler and common loon are all state threatened bird species. Calypso or fairy slipper orchid is an example. Lake sturgeon, prairie smoke, and golden seal are other species that are at that level. SC or special concern, that those species are not afforded legal protection under Michigan's Endangered Species Act. But there's concern that they are going to decline and may become threatened or endangered in the future. So the idea is list them, try to help protect them, conserve them, get more habitat restored or protected for them, and really help them out before their populations become dangerously low and they have to get listed as threatened or endangered. Or we just need more information about their status in the state. It might be a species that we don't know a lot about. And examples there include lead plant, Blanding's turtles. Bald eagles have been downlisted to special concern. Another bird example would be black-crowned night heron. So these are species to be aware of, keep an eye on, try to conserve before we have to legally protect them. And I wanted to note that in Michigan, special concern reptiles and amphibians have an extra layer of protection under DNR Director's Order FO 224.13. So I think it's important to understand what you can't do based on Michigan's rare species law. Basically, you cannot take a rare species without a permit that's been issued by the Michigan DNR. And per the law, take, when it comes to fish and wildlife species, includes harass, harm, pursue, hunt, shoot, wound, kill, trap, capture, collect, or attempt to engage in any of those types of activities. From a plant perspective, take means to collect, pick, cut, dig up, or destroy in any manner. So that's what you can't do. I also wanted to stress what you can do to help protect our rare species for future generations. So, one thing is to consider donating to Michigan's non-game Fish and Wildlife Fund. And this fund helps to identify, protect, manage, and restore our native flora and fauna, and their natural communities and other natural features that help support, because these species don't exist just in the ether. They need to have their habitats intact and supporting them. You can buy a Kirtland's Warbler license plate, which helps raise money for that particular fund. You can join a conservation organization or a tribal organization or a local land conservancy, your local nature center if they have, rare species on their properties. Find a group and help support rare species restoration efforts, either with your labor or with funding, by educating others and encouraging them to join. You can also support researchers and ecological restoration efforts that are focused on learning more about rare species and their needs, how best to restore their habitats, manage invasive species. You can add native species to your own properties. Who knows? You likely live in an area, if you're not too urban, that would support some sort of rare species. And so just restoring habitat on your own land can make a difference. And then you can learn more about the rare species in your area and report your observations. And I'll be posting more about that in the future. But I hope you enjoyed learning about Michigan's rare species law. And I hope this encourages you to explore what our rare species are here in the state. If you're listening from out of state, certainly look up rare species or threatened and endangered species and your state, and you will find probably your Department of Natural Resources or like wildlife department, something like that, and they'll have laws in your rare species lists as well. Take care and have a good week.